I'm gonna go grab a coffee and my green screen. Oh. Uh, I'll be here and actually streaming in like some couple of minutes. Waiting for my coffee. Need to bring my green screen in. I've lost my mouse cursor, but that's probably because I'm getting older. I just can't track stuff on the screen as well. That's probably fine. Ugh. Ah! What am I doing? That's a really good question. Looking at my phone. Oh, pretty rough today. I suppose you're just gonna have to deal with it. I'm pretty rough every day, so let's make some of this happen. That's here. All the cameras in the work. That work. Hi. That works. The top of my head is not cut off, but incredibly shiny, isn't it? Why is my head so shiny? Deal with it. It's a feature, not a bug. Let's go with that. Let's turn the music down a little, just a tad. Oh, I should tweet. Let me do a tweet. Am I still able to call it Twitter, or do I have to call it X now? Let's go here. I am live and talking about Star Citizen. Probably come say Star Citizen. Say hi and ask some questions. Then I'll put Star Citizen and say Octothorpe hashtag. And then I'll try and work out how to link. Trying to work out how to link my stream. So the stream info I have links me to the links me to the editing page for it. Doesn't give me that. There we go. Give me the information that I want. The actual link to the live stream. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Pristine. I've just put out it's recorded. It's probably in the final stages of editing the sort of channel and Star Citizen update for the month. So that will have the winners for the 5 ships. It will talk more about the giveaway for the Shiv. La. Go that a little tiny bit more. Right. Hello. I'm BoredGamer. Hope you're okay. So, we've got the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. That's going to be in a couple of weeks' time. That's probably going to start on the 20th-ish, 20th, 21st sort of time for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo this year. And that's looking like it's going to be at Horizon, Crusader Horizon. We'll have to wait and see. I know this is a weird time for me to stream normally, and normally I stream Mondays, not Tuesdays. I have to deal with it. I'm in the process of trying to recover my brain after CitizenCon. I had flu, and then I almost immediately, well, actually technically just before, I'd injured my shoulder, and it got pretty bad. I couldn't use my right hand at all. I couldn't lift anything in my right hand at all. Like literally, couldn't any weight. My arm would buckle, which is really weird. This partner thinks it was my tendon or something, but it's a lot better now. So I've not been sleeping great. Lots of minor issues. Just like a Star Citizen patch, Alpha 4.3.2, which I was hoping was going to be in a really good state by now, but CIG have gone, no, 4.4 will be in a good state, not 4.3.2. So a lot of the fixes that I wanted for that patch have turned up in 4.4. That's in eVocado testing at the moment, which is annoying because, as I said, I want the live builds to also be as playable as possible. I mean, it's partially understandable to a degree. I mean, you can certainly, you're certainly allowed to get annoyed or forgive or whatever you want, to choose what you want with CIG. But it's understandable that they're trying to push 4.4 through because it's Nix and because it's the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo and because they want to make all the money in the world during the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I'm thinking they're going to make 40 million over the next 2 months. You might say, that's a crazy amount of money. And I'd say to you, well, they've made 110 million so far this year. Last year, they made 117. Last year or the year before, the most they've ever made is 117 million in a year. So they're 7 million off that already before going into the largest sales period of the year for them. This is peak. What have we got? Oh, so thank you very much for the donation. Skeluna? I'm assuming that's how I say it. You think we will get pick up at location missions this year at a farm, or, for example, kill copians to save them grazers? Oh, so pick up at location is partially implemented in the way that they wanted. They have the ability for you to accept missions from objects and on the fly. I would expect you go to an area, bam, something is happening, you can get involved type kind of quest would also be in later this year. I'd assume that that's part of the stuff they want to get in for Nix and some of the stuff they had planned to get in for 4.3 but were unable to. Are the ships and the gameplay really just the surface skin of the game, and crafting and engineering the bones and sinews that will give it shape, substance, and in connectivity? So it needs an economy and a way of connecting everything together. However, it depends on how you want to play the game. Some people are going to just play the game planet side, doing some silly stuff. Some people are just going to be crewmen. I would expect like gunners. Some people are just going to do ship combat. Other people are going to do pretty much a little bit of everything. Some people are going to want to do just industrial gameplay and mining or base building. Right. So the idea is that all of that, the game needs to be able to support everyone doing those roles and potentially being able to make money, as long as they're a bit wily and sensible about how they do that gameplay. Make money that supports all the other professions in game. So there is a level of not just simulation to the economy, but the economy kind of works. Now, the economy is going to be simulated, so bear that in mind as well. CIG are basically saying we're 1/10 of the population, and there's a load of NPCs and lots of other economic factors that they're effectively in control of. So it's going to be economy and crafting player influenced, but not player led. Maybe, yeah, I say maybe with crafting, argue it's player led. We don't 100% know if this is going to change. So the thing is that all the different aspects of Star Citizen are all the different organs in a body, and you need all of them. You need all of them, otherwise it just doesn't work. So talking about different parts of Star Citizen as like the sinew and everything, yeah, I get what you mean. And yes, that's fair comparison, but we need all of it to work in unison together. That is the tricky part of Star Citizen, because they've got infinite time and infinite money. I mean, that's obviously not true, but let's assume that it is. Yeah. They still need to bring everything together, even if they make each of the individual components, like the flight model and combat and crafting, all great. It all needs to come together, support each other. I'm sort of going on a slight tangent and side note. I'm loving Arc Raiders, okay? I'm not a huge PvPer. I play PvP games like Finals and stuff. Same studio that's made Arc Raiders. But I'm much more of a PvEer. However, I love Rust. And I love PvP in Rust as well. But at my own pace. Arc Raiders is absolutely fantastic for that. I can play in my own way. And I can play solo, I can play with pairs, or with 3 people, groups of 3. And it kindles my love of Rust and being able to do a bit of PvP when I want to. And there's a load of PvE, and the PvE is dangerous and interesting. And I love looting. I love looting and crafting and all that sort of stuff. And it's got all of it. It's got all the things I like in a game. I was, on the weekend, I was just selling fruit. I was selling olives, trading olives for lemons and stuff, helping people. I'm trying to help evac them. You're screaming, don't shoot. And I had this very angry Russian at one point screaming about a battery being missing. And I went off and did some stuff. And then about 10 minutes later, I came back. He was still screaming about a battery. No one helping him find a battery. Helped him find a battery. And then he was, oh, yeah, thank you, find battery. Put it in this door, and the cellar opened. There was a load of secret loot there that I didn't realise was there. He gave me a machine gun. And it was like, oh yeah, now we evac, and it's just screaming at me to evac. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm with this guy now. Yeah, it's so fun. Sometimes you get ambushed. Sometimes people just go. They don't respect their don't shoot and the little dance. But typically, I don't like super sweaty games like Tarkov. Not that it's always like that and you can play how you want, but it does attract those sort of people. And I think there's a contingent of that in Arc Raiders. You'll have a contingent of that in Star Citizen. That's not the way I want to play. I want to enjoy it at my own pace. However, I do want to excel in my enjoyment of it. So however I decide to enjoy, I want to make sure that's a viable gameplay loop and do it the best I can. Yeah, while not damaging my enjoyment, I suppose. So thought I'd say that. There's all the components need to come together, make Star Citizen a great game, and make it a long-term game. For sure. Everyone's doing well. Thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate that. Why are so many people butthurt that players can fly their multi-crew ships solo? Is it because they're upset they don't have a reclaimer? So, some people are just upset for their own reasons, right? What I want is I want people to be able to fly those ships solo as long as they're using, as long as there's downsides to that. So you haven't got an engineer aboard, right? Engineering is going to make that much more worrisome. You can obviously replace that with getting NPC crew. Yeah, there's a cost to that. Or you can get blades that will do some semi-autonomous function, maybe like fire suppression systems, stuff like that. Maybe, right? I've actually seen a wreck of an Idris or Javelin with fire suppression systems activated previously. So I want people to enjoy the game the way they want. However, multi-crew ships need to have a balance at cost, and if you are running a multi-crew ship with players and you're running it well, that should be top dog sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Some people are going to be annoyed that people have got ships they bought the real money. Some people are going to be annoyed that people want to do something in a different way than they would want to do it, or a way that they expect. One of the things with Star Citizen as well, we know a lot about these features and whatever, but no one has a idea of exactly how they'll all come together in the end game and how these final features will be. Everyone has a slightly different dream of that, so not everyone can be right. But I'm hoping we have a melting pot of a game that allows for a great end product rather than just a bowl of gruel. Coffee drinking intensifies. I'm got some new coffee. I say new coffee. One of my mates in Leeds, he kept on buying coffee to try and find the coffee she likes, and dumped me with like 8 bags of opened, used once, like 1 cup of coffee. I've got like 8 kilograms of random coffee, which I'm getting through. I should really write down the ones I like so that I can buy it again. But from what I can tell, she went for branding of the product. There was like a dead donkey, and then there was this cool skeleton brand, and so that's how the skeleton was posed. You're missing hair. I know. It's it'll draw in later. It takes a while. Going to Great Western War Society for Creative Anachronism for a week. Whatever you do without me, I'll be sad, Sharkbite. Hope you're okay, buddy. So again, my injury and flu and stuff was pretty minor. It's just as I'm getting older, it takes longer and longer for me to get recover after a cold. And when I injure my back slightly from moving or sleeping poorly, it can put me out for a couple of days. Like just having a bad night's sleep, going, my back. Our ships and the game, we talked about that earlier. Feel free to ask any questions you want. Do you think the new RSI starter salvage ship will fit in the galaxy? So, new starter salvage ship, whatever it can be, will be pretty small, but think of it pretty much a golem. Golem for salvage. Any news on the release of the Hull D? No. So they're going to be finishing the Hull B, and then they'll be looking at the D and E. They will want areas that are working, like the external cargo areas and external lifts and stuff, working in Nyx and Pyro, so they can support them as well, though. There's no technical reason they can't get the Hull D and E in now. However, they're big. Have you seen and played Vane? I have not played Vane. Zombie Survival was made by 2 people. Oh, okay. I did see on. Let me have a quick look on Steam. I'm pretty sure it appears in my. Yeah, I've got it on my wish list. I'm trying to avoid early access games where possible, just because they seem to run out of content from ready. I'm looking forward to playing Grounded 2, playing Valheim when it's completed. What else? As in, playing Escape Simulator 2 now that's released. Doing that as well. That's all good. Did you hear that 4.4 might be coming to first wave this week? Yes. Yeah. So that is correct. That is the plan. 4.4 to wider PTU this week. Question: if 4.4 is the IAE patch, when do they usually start testing new ships for it? They might not necessarily test any of the ships for the IAE. Might do a short build just before it. So I'm expecting 4.4 to release a few days, if not a week, before the IAE. So I would expect 4.4 to release between the 13th and the 18th, 19th of November, somewhere between there. It's possible they've got a new ship or vehicle there. Maybe the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo ships with the Perseus and several more, which we'll talk about in a leaks and rumors video, what we think else could be there, because there have been some data mines, there have been some leaks and some rumors about them. But I don't want to espouse them here yet. I'll let them cook a little bit longer. J-Bad, thanks so much for continuing to be a member. 77 months. It only feels like 76 and a half. 7 months is so long. Wow. The best part of 100 years. But yeah, it's quite possible they won't test the ships or the IAE before putting them in the patch, because the way they do flight ready stuff now. We'll have to wait and see. It's also possible you might get a very few days before the IAE, you might get a Evocati build with that in. But you might want to test it. One of the other things is, are we going to see a changing expo hall? Or are we going to see a static expo hall and them just change what ships are rentable on the kiosks? My dog gave me an inhaler with some nasal spray to help with extended cough. Oh, it helps with, okay, yeah. I wasn't that bad. I was just tired, and the thing with the flu is because it was combined with the shoulder. I couldn't exercise, and I gained probably quite a bit of weight. I looked at my belly and I was like, oh, belly, and jiggle it now. So you can see me jiggling when I'm jiggling my belly. It's not the best. So yeah, with soloing and ships, I want people to be able to do it as long as they make concessions with using NPC crew or blades, or just understand that you've got limited function, or it might be quite dangerous if your components, you're going to take a lot of attrition, right? Fire breaks out, what are you going to do? A component goes down, what are you going to do? So multi-crew ships. Multi-crew gameplay is a core component in Star Citizen. I think one of the worries is that everyone will be running a large capital ship. So you have a group of 100 people in an org, and rather than them run 3 capital ships, they'll run 100 capital ships, right? All with one person, and then just NPC crew, or trying to bare bones it as much as possible. Engineering only really impacts combat. So the split-second important decisions about ship destruction, yeah, but stuff's still going to degrade. Fires could still break out even when you're not in combat. Components can go down. Wear is still going to be a thing. Choosing the right components and maintaining them is still a thing. It's just a lot more manageable out of combat, right? What kind of deodorant do I wear? So I used to run Lynx, yeah, but I got told by one of my mates that he smells Lynx and he just smells sweaty boy. Okay, because that's just his memory of that nostalgia. I think a lot of people do. So now I'm using Old Spice Night Panther. I'm glad you asked. I also use Jean Paul Gaultier aftershave spray. I very much like. My signature scent. And when I leave or enter the room, I want people to go, that's BoredGamer, he smells. Thanks, JBed, for giving people the buyback token schedule. Yeah, Grounded 1 was great. I had a great time with that. What I don't like is playing games like Valheim when they're not complete, getting really into them, and then going, oh, nothing else to do. I wanted to complete my playthrough of it. Ironclad I'm super excited for. We're not getting it this year, obviously, in grey box at the moment, I believe. I want to solo an Idris. Yeah, fair. I want to solo a Constellation, maybe an Ironclad. Yeah. I think you will be able to an extent, right? Like, manageable out of combat, for sure. You might be a lot more efficient running them with crew. It does depend on what you're doing. Really, Star Citizen likes to put off rework 600i and bring up to standard Newton not being as profitable. Do you think engineering will bring older ships up? So making the ships ready for engineering is going to give a lot of them updates, tweaks, and that sort of stuff. I mean, they've been doing it with a load of ships as well, right? And one of the reasons they're doing ship archetypes is for that too. I don't slay the younglings, J-Bud. I'm pretty chill. I'm very pro free will. I would have said, look, if you need to slay the younglings, you do you. Okay, that's your choice. I'm not saying that you do or don't need to. Yeah, so the Avalf is one of the rumored ships for the IAE. It sort of makes sense. Always expect some variants, ships and vehicles they put in. I think we can expect a few, potentially like an Apollo variant and stuff like that as well, right? And some of these things might not technically be variants; they might just be using the base hull as inspiration and then gone a little bit different direction. Grab any questions? Got over here. Bear with me. Hello. So I'm running 64 gigs of RAM, and I've got a 9070 XT, and I'm running 4K now. I get great frame rate. See by my recordings when you see gameplay, it's in 4K, pretty high frame rate. I'm going to start messing around with lossless scaling as well, just see if it gives me a better experience in Star Citizen. Lots of people have said it does. Has there been any update on the gold standard reviews of both the Origin 600i and the RSI Constellation? 600i is not a priority at the moment, so don't expect much in the way of updates on that. I was hoping we might see something at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, like them talk about it, but I don't think they will. Yeah, the last time they said not a priority. It's a functional ship, and we've got other stuff we want to get done for the squadron or for new ships or for ships that are getting gameplay. The RSI Constellation, I'm expecting to see some updates in the not too distant future on. It does need to be brought up to gold standard. The Aurora and the Hammerhead are also being brought up to gold standard at the moment, if not already. Yeah, so we're expecting the IAE around the 20th. I don't think that's 100% confirmed yet. Very likely, though. Worth using a TV as a gaming monitor for Star Citizen? It depends on the specs of the TV and your use case. What distance are you playing from? What size of TV are we talking about? Some of the newer sort of OLED, whatever the new stuff is for that can be really, really good. HDR is hit and miss based on the TV you've got, things like that as well. So some TVs haven't got the best refresh rates. Some are great. So you can treat TVs often effectively like a monitor now, but that just means that you need to do a bit of research. What else have we got? Is Astroneer any good? People have recommended I play it. And I might like it. With my 5080 arriving today, should I use 4K TV or stick with these 2K monitors? I want to record at 4K. Don't know. Probably. I'd test it with both. You have access to both without spending any more money. Make sure you got the right cables. You might have a great experience with a 4K TV, but yeah. He's talking smack about TVs. I'm not. No. Yes, so Alpha 4.4 at the moment, Neva Carty. We've got the Nyx system there. It's Nyx, Glacium Ring, Calamar, Levski, a couple of jump points, And you can spawn, I think in the latest patch, you can spawn at Levski or either of the jump point stations. Take you into, interestingly, Pyro and Stanton, although the one that goes to Stanton will eventually become the one that goes to Castra instead. So sort of bear that in mind. Really, really looking forward to more stuff in 4.4. I haven't seen any Vanville yet, or if they're actually there. Messing around very briefly. We'll be playing a lot more as soon as it goes to First Wave PTU, which is hopefully going to be later this week. I play a little bit of the Ivakali builds, and then if I'm waiting for a while, I play a bit more. I play a lot of PTU builds. The PTU builds that can actually show content. I think I play more PTU than I do live. Yeah, I only recently moved over properly to 4K for gaming and recording. I tried to multiple times over the last couple of years. But even with my 9070 XT, I get really great performance Star Citizen with Vulkan on as well. So I think Vulkan has, over the last year, become absolutely fantastic. And I'm hoping they have it fully integrated later this year, rather than just beta. I want it fully optimized. Well, I want it fully in, and then them to depreciate Direct 3D or DirectX, whatever, and then focus and polish Vulkan for the experience there. The Star Citizen is very pretty, and getting it pretty at a higher, better scale for more people is I'm very excited for. So yeah, Siege of Orison is going to be the first use of instancing in-game, and that will be coming in 2026. Turn of the Siege of Orison. What do you think about Yogi saying the new flight model was a long way out? I think that's accurate, but that could mean a year or 2 years, right? This is mainly for... I don't think they need the new flight model fully finished for atmospheric flight and stuff like that for Squadron. The quantum jump stuff is... There was a leak about that a while ago. So it's a mixture of the new quantum experience, quantum jump stuff, and quantum boosting. They've all got planned. I think that is all coming together. But what I would say is CIG are now obviously putting stuff out monthly, which is changed their scale a lot, right? Their understanding of scale of stuff. It's possible you'll see a new flight model at the end of next year. They actually implemented the flight model updates, I should say. Okay, yeah, I'll float Astroneer to Zin. When we're done with Escape Simulator, we'll put some Escape Simulator videos on the channel as well, at least for Patreons and channel members, so people have used the join button. Do you think... that's what I just read. I wish CIG would be more descriptive in some responses. But just Yogi saying you're not getting the new flight model anytime soon. I think that's important to say. An issue with flight is quantum travel is on rails. I need quantum travel boost. I'd like to see ammo stuff too, but otherwise I'm good on flights. Honestly, so for me it's important that customization for ships and the type of ship and archetype of the ship and its role are super important in combat. But I also want everyone to be able to have I want the skill floor to be there to support people, and I want the skill ceiling to be relatively high, but not so high that an ace pilot can be 8 other pilots simultaneously. They should still get pulled down by that, right? Can't avoid everything. Level of prediction they can't do because they can't exploit it or anything like that. I think that some of the problems that you've had with in the past with ace pilots, because you do have amazing pilots, don't get me wrong, as well, but sometimes there are techniques that are hard to do which just go, well, you can't actually hit me. That's not just being evasive, that's exploiting some stuff, so like flying backwards, using momentum and that sort of stuff while firing it at different angles or whatever, tricording, all that sort of stuff. Mean that some players just don't understand why they can't compete. That said, get good, learn it. That there is an element of that, and I want that still to be there. I just don't want people to be able to go, well, you just can't beat me. Stop. It's impossible for you, even though there's 8 of you. Don't want that. See what I mean? I could probably go a way to explain that a bit better, but I think people understand the spirit of what I was saying there. A little bit of a skill floor, so people feel moderately badass, like when you're riding around a Titan and Titanfall, right? That's turned on during a live stream. I hadn't... I've got them set to low. The lowest I can set them to, I think. You think if they implemented realistic Atmo flight, that most people would actually hate it and miss the space style? So yeah, when they put something in that's even, I would say, objectively better, that is almost universally accepted as being better, some people are still going to complain. Some people are going to hate it. That is just the nature of multiple people, lots of people at scale playing a game. Oh, I'll with ads during live streams, I'll see what I can do to reduce that further. I've not messed around with my settings. They were set to low. They may have been changed and maybe on normal or high or something, and I have not realised. Don't even know how to check during the live stream. 1 second. Let me write this down. Yeah, thanks. I would not know unless you told me with stuff like that. Obviously, it doesn't. Ads don't appear for me, and they don't tell me when you're getting an ad. I want people to want to watch my stuff and not be constantly interrupted. So there is a level of YouTube ads that will run before, after, during videos, right? And a huge portion of my income comes from that. Live streams, I'd like to be a bit cleaner from general ads, but the way I want to run ads myself is have them at the end of the videos, potentially an integration before that if necessary, because it's contractually obliged or it helps out the channel loads financially or something. But typically I want to put them at the end of the video so people can watch them if they want to, but they can always go, the video is now over, and now Bored is peddling stuff that he thinks I might want, or he wants me to click on so that he gets money. I spend money. So, heard anything about the classic game package ships receiving gold standard or timeline? So the Aurora is getting updated and gold standarded. I believe that we're going to have a Grey's market ship that's going to be using the Mustang as a base. So I'd expect that to get even more updates as well. Obviously, they're super important and they need gold standard. I want to be. It's called Need to Pay the Bills. Yeah, but I want to be open and honest about that. And also, live streams. I'll try to get it set to as low ads as possible, right? Because people that watch the live streams are probably going to, you know, be supported. They're more likely to support me with donations or bits or subscribing or whatever if there are less interruptions. The lack of communication from CIG is the cause of a lot of frustration, in my opinion. Sad to see. So, it's an interesting one because they are both the most open game development, especially at the scale they're at, and also they get stuff wrong with communication because they're not communicating all the stuff that we want all the time. Now, obviously, it's an impossible task to get all of the stuff that we want to all the time. 100%. I acknowledge that, but I'm always going to want more, and I'm always going to say when CIG haven't done something that I want, just because they're more aware and there's going to be more of a melting pot and understanding of, oh, okay, people want this rather than this. So I do think they communicate a lot, and I think their communication is pretty good for the most part, but not always, and sometimes they miss the mark. But that is just the cost of doing business, and it's not the correct way to use that, but it is also true. The news like a sister. To us all, well, she's that's actually quite a good description of how she is. A sister that doesn't necessarily like me all the time and is disappointed in the way I operate. Sin's one of my best friends in the world. I absolutely adore Zin, which is one of the reasons sort of I hired her, because we do get on with each other and sort of understand and respect each other. We're yeah. What else we got? Very angry sister who knows best and is never wrong. Also, great at a job, and if she's listening, doing a great job, Zin. Thanks, mate. Love your law. Is it unreasonable for there to be dumb bugs such as getting stuck in beds and having to relog? So yeah, I've been using the 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But sometimes it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Is the problem? So, is it unreasonable? No, it's reasonable for that to happen. It is going to happen. There's going to be some things like that break, especially during the alpha. Hopefully, we'll get less and less. Once we get to 1.0, yes, that is then unacceptable and unreasonable for those sort of things to happen. 1.0 should put the end to 99% of that, if not closer to 100% of that, because otherwise you lose stuff to a weird bug, or it's just janky still. People aren't going to want to play it, right? So sort of bear that in mind. But at the moment, there is going to be times that you'll be like, oh, it's unacceptable that I can't do these missions, or some of the missions don't progress, whatever. It's annoying, especially during the year of playability in 4.3.2. Most buggy, unstable patch that we've had in recent memory is, for me, it is annoying. But I do understand. If the flight model is 2 years away, so is Squadron 42. That's not necessarily the case at all. The flight model they want for what they want in sort of Star Citizen Specific Universe and the different mechanics behind that do not necessarily relate to Squadron 42. It's like engineering doesn't necessarily relate to Squadron 42 in the same sort of way. A lot of the stuff is going to be pre-baked, scripted, and that sort of stuff for Squadron. So sort of bear that in mind. It doesn't need to be a free traveling quantum travel system. You are going to be going to specific places. It doesn't need to be as a sandbox as the Persistent Universe is, nor have netcode behind it, right? But if I'm wrong about that, then I would expect the new flight model to be done next year and Squadron 42 to still release next year. 2026 is still the plan. Is it possible they might not make it that with Squadron 42? Yeah, it's possible they'll move it to 2027. But it's pretty high priority Squadron. I do think they're going to get it in next year. Engineering coming soon. So engineering's been tested on the tech preview. It's not currently available. It was tested recently, and it was very cool. There's new UIs and a load of new features to engineering. But I do not know when it's going to be coming again. I'm assuming that it's going to go to another Evo build soon, but we don't know if it's going to go to a wider waves after that. We don't know if they're trying to get in for the end of this year, but for live, or if it's going to be next year. We don't know. CIG have not made their intentions clear. It will be an absolute massive change to combat and the way it all works, especially in multi-crew and larger ships, but also to a degree smaller ships, and the way you engage them, right? Because you'll be going after specific components rather than just shooting the ship. I wonder if getting all those large ships was a bad call. So as long as you've got people to fill the seats, it's not potentially a bad call. Like I wouldn't buy a huge fleet with real money, in my opinion, or continue to do that. If you're part of an org, you maybe can justify it a bit better. If we know a bit more how blades and NPC crew work, then maybe you can justify it a bit better. You know, to a degree, you're going to be able to slave the turrets so that a lot of them shoot with the pilots, and I don't expect that crew sizes are as big as they once planned either. I do expect you can run ships with small crew. I just wouldn't expect to be able to solo all capital ships without NPC crew and blades and that sort of thing. You see how difficult the new engineering stuff is? I didn't test everything. I have no context beyond the pilot has access to a lot of the engineering function from an MFD. The engineering consoles have full-on sort of displays of what's going on and going, all your components damaged here, you can see that visually. And you can open all the doors and close all the doors and deal with fire, and cooling components is important. You need to think about that because components just shut down when they get too hot. There's a lot going on with it. Do you think repair via stations is going to go away to an extent after engineering? No, it's still going to be important. So there's only going to be a certain level of repair you can do to components before you go, I need to take this to a station, or entirely replace the component. If you've got replacements on hand, bam. So with capital ships, that will mean there is a lifespan for them being out before they need to go to a station as well. You won't be able to replace the components on capital ships because they're so large, the component. They need specialist facilities. Wasn't there talk about an internal point defense system or stations or systems? So they can have internal turrets in ships. They showed off ages ago like a more of a automatic turret. Now we've seen internal turrets as well at the ASD facilities, and we know that the Ironclad, for example, as well has got a internal defense turret. So you'll see more and more stuff like that, part of security systems. You think we'll ever see dock speed limiters around landing zones? It would be nice not to have people going Mach 1 through the borehole. So they might go when you're within a certain distance. You do have max speed, a max speed reduction. Yeah, I think that's actually a good idea. You're effectively giving your flight computer over to the station, and if you refuse to do that, it considers you hostile or something. Hello. I'm looking forward to digging into the rumors on the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo ships. Right. Yeah, as I said, I'm super enjoying Arc Raiders. It's got the most enjoyable system of it. Any game I've played? True. Did really like looting and Rust. I wouldn't run around solo and Rust. Well, I would, just mining sulfur. I've got a lot of love for Arc Raiders. And I've only done a limited amount of stuff. I'm just doing the stuff that I'm enjoying. And Sidon's partner's playing with me regularly. I truly love having this resource. The live AMA you do, Bored, not just saying it. Great tool for us to use. Well, it's a great tool for me. Genuinely, that's the main reason I do it. I don't enjoy streaming in the same way I enjoy making YouTube videos. But doing like an hour or two a week of live streams is just sensible because it allows me to connect to the community, sort of understand what's going on, what people are talking about, what people want to talk about. If they've got a critique about whatever CIG are doing or what I'm doing. It's if I was trying to fundraise or drive something or promote something in particular, it's a good platform to plan for that on the channel. Yeah, I like the live response. I loved looting in Rust. But that's more base building industry kind of loot. It's the feeling I had when finding loads and loads of explosives in Rust from someone's base. Oh, I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you so much. But I enjoy the silliness in Arc Raiders, just being able to play the flute at someone and then them start dancing in front of me, and then a guy come along, try and shoot us both, and then everyone nearby in bushes like coming out and shooting that one guy. Because we were actually surrounded by loads of solo players, but solo players respond pretty aggressively to someone starting combat, I found now, especially when you're trying to just harvest fruit. It's such a silly game, I love it. The combat is pretty fun, and the PvE is pretty fun. I'm looking forward to there being loads of stuff to do in Star Citizen that I can sort of go and loot and go and do stuff and just be having fun all the time. I'm so looking forward to 1.0 of Star Citizen. I mean, stuff like Nyx and everything is exciting for me, and engineering all in isolation, but bringing it all together, that's the thing I'm looking forward to. Yes, I'm feeling loads better than I have been, and like I've felt pretty rough the last 3 weeks, to be honest. Like, I'm feeling loads better now. I'm a lot tubbier. I've got 3 weeks worth of tub, like 3 weeks basically of no exercise and eating poorly. Paladin nerf when? All ships are going to be rebalanced multiple times before 1.0. Oh, I need to work out some orgs that we're going to shout out week. In the original promotional content for the RSI constellation, the VTOLs on the row section are shown slide forward on flaps. Would there be any expectation for the gold standards to revisit? I don't believe they are. I think they've already mentioned that. There could be some tweaks there to make stuff look prettier. But I'm not sure if that's going to be something they do. I don't believe it is, but they might. I might be surprised. Speed limit could solve pan ramming. So could I think if you pad ram someone in lawful space, you get charged. It's like GTA. You get charged for the full cost of their ship. Yeah, it is just you are at fault. We're taking your money. So I think we're going to get blades that allow us to slave more turrets, but a lot of ships are going to get updates, as far as I understand, to allow more of their weapons to be controlled by the pilot, although at a more limited function. That said, they don't want all turrets in all situations to be able to be controlled by the pilot, even though it might make sense in a futuristic game. They do want a level of balance, and they do want players to group up to use a ship together. If you're thinking of like running something like if you're running like a Paladin solo, yeah, and you just get a couple of fighters in your rear arc, you are relatively screwed, right? There'll be an internal player flagging system where players who misbehave will be assigned temporarily to shards where other players are simulating. I mean, I quite like the idea. I like that. A priority system and you just deprioritize people. I know they want to put in chat and org and management features for players. I believe if you were to more freely mute players and turn that stuff on and off, hopefully report in-game. I'd like to keep it all as in-game as possible. And then CIG action that where appropriate. Because flagging players, you could brigade someone, and I don't want that to affect them. It has to be verified exploits or going against terms of service. Just being a pirate, a really effective pirate, and ruining some people's days so that you have a better day should not be enabled, not allow you to get flagged, because people will be flagged for that, right? They'll be like, oh, non-consensual PvP, sort of exploiting or something like that. People will get angry if they've got a large loss because someone was creative or just devious in their taking of your stuff. It's one of the reasons I'm enjoying, again, Arc Raiders, because I'm starting to get more zen about loss. Noticed how a lot of ships have increasingly placed airlocks / small docking collars. Makes me think that ship-to-ship docking might be an issue, because a lot of ships have the openings at bad spots. Oh, okay. I know they're trying to make all the metrics similar, and they want ship-to-ship docking and all that sort of jazz, but yeah, I hadn't thought about that. They're going to need extending docker collars for all ships. Yeah. DayZ makes you very zen about loss. I never really played DayZ. Right. Right. Any other quick questions we can answer? Right, I am going to dash off so that I can get Day's update video out. But yes, thank you so much for joining me today. Very much appreciated for all the kind words and the donations, bits and stuff, and all the new subs. Thank you. That is genuinely appreciated. If you want to further support the channel, use the join button under my videos or go to Patreon /BoredGamer UK. It's all those things are under my videos. If you want to help support the channel, or if you want to, get any of the products that we promote or whatever, will change. I'm going to be doing some more stuff with Thrustmaster real soon. Yeah, and obviously always things like Nord and Toby and things like, I love them. They're my boys. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. Genuinely appreciated. I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a great day, and peace. I can't see where the end stream button is.